Hello YouTubers, the new Time Travel Jaime 88. I'm back with another Doctor Who DVD review. Today, in honor of celebrating Doctor Who's 50th anniversary, I'm reviewing one Doctor Who story each per month. So today, I'm doing William Hartnell's 4-part story, Doctor Who, The Time Meddlers. Wow, this is an excellent story. I really love it. It's fantastic. And before we get to the review, I just want to give a quick shout out to I Squish the Pancake. I Squish the Pancake, your videos are awesome. Keep up the good work, and for those of you who don't know who I Squish the Pancake is, go ahead and check out her channel on YouTube, I Squish the Pancake, a girl who loves Doctor Who. Okay, so this review, The Time Meddler, the 4-part adventure, originally transmitted on July 3rd to the 24th, 1965. So, let's begin with the plot, shall we? The plot begins. The Doctor and Vicky find Stephen Taylor aboard the TARDIS after he stumbled in a disordered state of mechanism. When a TARDIS lands on a rocky beach and they all step outside, Stephen takes some convincing that the TARDIS has been really able to travel in space and time. The Doctor establishes the sentries from the discarded Viking helmets and heads off to the village, while Stephen and Vicky explore the cliffs above, witnessed by a monk who does not seem fazed by the materialization. The TARDIS is soon after spotted a Saxon villager called Eldred, who runs to tell the headman of the village, his village, Walnut, about it. The Doctor encounters Edith, Walnut's wife, and convinces her he is a harmless traveler. While probing her more information, he finds out it is 1066 since Harold Godwinson is on the throne and has not yet faced Harold Hadrid at Stamford Bridge, let alone William the Conqueror in the Battle of Hastings. At nearby monastery, monks are chatting despite only one of them even being seen. The chattering slows down as if played back from a recording at the wrong speed. The monk lets the Doctor in and allows him to prowl around and find a gramophone playing the monk's mechanic chattering and a modern conveyance such as toaster and a manufactured teapot. The monk traps the Doctor in a makeshift cell. Stephen and Vicky encounters Eldred and notice his possession of a wristwatch that monk dropped earlier. They spend the night in a clearing, and the next morning are ambushed by the Saxons and taken to the village council. They convince Walnut they are but travelers and are given provision to travel on. Vicky is heartened to hear that the Doctor passed by her hut on his way to the monastery. Stephen and Vicky visit the monastery where the monk tried to dissuade them from entering, but gives himself away deliberately by describing the Doctor too accurately. And so, Stephen and Vicky decided he must be prisoner inside. They break after dark, delighting the monk as he prepares the same trap for them. The monk is pleased to finally sight a Viking ship on the horizon. The Viking lands. 2 small groups are sent to search the area. One of the Vikings finds and attacks Edith, leaving her traumatized, and the Saxons to go hunting for the invaders. The Vikings are drunk, and the giant that attacked Edith is cut down. His companions, Steve and Olaf, manage to flee. Eldred has been badly wounded, and Walnut takes him to the monastery for help. At the monk's lair, intruding Steve and Vicky find a gramophone. The monk's trap is delayed by the arrival of Walnut and the injured Eldred. Stephen and Vicky find the empty cell bar of the Doctor's cloak Then they manage to leave the monastery via a secret patch. The doctor is actually taken to the same passage and returned to Edith in the Saxon village. He soon hears the Viking invasion scouting party, and upon leaving Edith's house, decided to head back to the monastery to track down Stephen and Vicky, having learned that they have gone there. Stephen and Vicky have meanwhile found to their dismay that the TARDIS has been submerged beneath the oncoming tide, afraid that the doctor may have to leave in it. They resolve to check him at the monastery away, especially after they discovered an atomic bazooka trained out to sea from the cliff top near where the TARDIS was. The monk is intended to use the Viking for his own ends, and once Wolnoth has departed his monastery, produce an elaborate checklist that builds to a meeting with King Harold himself. There is another knock at the monastery's door, and this time it is the doctor who has upper hand when the doctor is answered, fooled into thinking he is being held at gunpoint. The monk is marched back inside and is about to answer a few questions when there is yet another knock at the door. When the doctor and the monk answered, they are overpowered by two Vikings, Steve and Olaf. In the ensuing confrontation, Monk is able to slip away, leaving the doctor as the Viking prisoner. It's a state of play that does not last long. The doctor knocks out Steve and elsewhere. The monk does the same to Olaf and securely ties him up. The monk uses freedom to pursue the villagers to light beacon fires on the cliff tops, lying that he is expecting materials by the sea to enhance monastery, when in fact he wishes to lure the Viking fleet to land nearby. Wolnoth said he will light the fires, but does not do so as he realized the danger. Stephen and Vicky return to the monastery via secret passage and investigate the crypt when a heavy power cable emanates from the sarcophagus. When they look inside, they discover that is a TARDIS of the monk's very own. He must come from the same place as the doctor. The term Time Lord is not used. The monk has meanwhile returned to the monastery, and once more under the doctor's control, he revealed his plan is not to help the villagers but lure them to the coast, where he hoped to destroy the invasion fleet with an atomic bazooka. This will prevent the Viking invasion and thereby shore up to King Harold to such an extent he will not them lose the Battle of Hastings. In the short, the monk is a time meddler who has left his and the doctor's own planet some 15 years after the doctor himself. Stephen and Vicky have found further evidence of meddling his TARDIS, a journal recording his meeting with Leonardo da Vinci to discuss a powerful flight providing an anti-gravitational disk to help the ancient sets to build the Stonehenge, and using time travel to collect a fortune and compound interest from a bank. The doctor denounced the monk for seeking to alter history and forced him to reveal his TARDIS. When they found Stephen and Vicky together, the time traveler piece together with Monk's immortal plot, which the monk insists to intend to stabilize England and benefit Western civilization. The Vikings had meanwhile freed themselves from the bond and decided to avenge themselves on the monk, who had imprisoned them. Others spot them and, despite his injury, flee to the villagers, where he raised Wolnoth and a squad of Saxons to deal with the marauders. At the monastery, the table has turned. Olaf and Steve have formed a contrived allies with the monk and had tied up the doctor's party while the three of them take the bazooka shells down to the canyon on the beach. The scheme is foiled, however, where the Saxons arrive and engage the fleeing Vikings in a nearby clearing, killing Steve and Olaf in battle. The monk hides while this frightened range. Little know that the doctor and his friend has been freed and are tampering with his TARDIS. With the scheme in ruins, the monk decides to leave and return his TARDIS. The doctor has gone and left a note assuring that the monk's meddling days are ended. When the monk look inside his TARDIS and realize the doctor has taken the dimensional control and the interior of his ship has shrunk beyond use, leaving him stranded in 1066 with an angry band of Saxons nearby. The tide having gone out, and the doctor and his friend are free to lead this primitive time and in their TARDIS and journey onwards to the stars. Yes, this is a great story, but don't worry, the monk returns in the Dialects Master Plan. Great episode. I really love this one. So, let's get on to the features, shall we? Here's the still pictures from the story. We have audio commentaries by producer Verity Lambert, Peter Perbs, story editor Donald Tosh, and designer Barry Newberry. Moderated by Clayton Hickman. Verity Lambert obituary. A consecutive lost 12 seconds. A small part of episode 4 is still missing, and a short use of an off-air audio and recording script to replace the missing 12 seconds of the context. Restoration, Strip for Action, The First Doctor, Verity Lambert's Photo Gallery DVD ROM features, and PDF photo galleries. Here's disc 1. Not this, it's not 2 disc set, it's the single disc, silly me. Fantastic story. I really love the Time Meddlers. However, episode 1, 3, and 4 were reported missing from the BBC film and videotape library. An edited telerecording of all 4 episodes were returned to the BBC from Nigeria in 1985. And a complete copies of the episode 1 and 3 were returned. In 1992, a short sequence from episode 4, despite of active violence, remains missing. Good grief. That sucks. William Hartnell does not appear in episode 2. He was on a holiday. This 4-part adventure was rebroadcast again on BBC 2 on January 3rd through January 24th, 1992. Well, that's it for this week's episode. Make sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. And remember, if you have a Doctor Who DVD review that you would like me to request, make sure to drop a comment. This is the new Time Travel Jaime 88 saying so long.